Impact. It's not about making a nice impression. It's about making an impact. It's about doing your best. I learned how to make an impact from what is person I've met in my life. A third grade dropout. Why is this dropout in the same sentences right jumbo shrimp? Like fun and nothing fun about it. And it's not oxymoron for me to say dropout is that third grade dropout, the wisest person I've met in my life, who taught me to combine knowledge and wisdom to make was my father, a simple cook. Why is it oxymoron? Just a simple cook. Left school in the third grade to help out on the family farm just because he left school doesn't mean his education stopped. Mark then once that I never allowed my schooling to get in the way of. My father taught himself how to read, taught himself how to write, decided in the midst of Jim Crowism, as America was birthing the last gasp of the Civil War. My father decided he was going to stand up, be a man, not a black man, not a brown man, not a white man, but a man. He literally challenged himself to be the best he could all the days of his life. A third grade dropout that who was quoting Michelangelo saying was to us boys, I don't want to have a problem if you aim high and miss, but I'm going to have a little issue if you aim low and hit. A country mother quoting Henry Ford saying, if you think you cannot, if you think you can't, you're right. I learned that from a third grade drop. Simple lessons. The lessons like this, son, you'd rather be an hour early than a minute late. We never knew what time it was in my house because the clocks were always ahead. My mother said for nearly 30 years, my father left the school at 30:45 in the morning. One day she asked him, why daddy? He said, maybe one of my boys will catch me on the act of excellence. I want to share a few things with you. As daughters, and you are what you repeatedly do. Therefore, excellence ought to be a habit, not an act. Don't ever forget that. I know you're tough. I know you're seaworthy, but always remember to be kind. Always. Don't ever forget that. Never. Embarrass mama. Yeah. Mommy ain't happy. Ain't nobody happy. And daddy ain't happy, so nobody cares, you know. I'm telling you. Next lesson. Lesson from a cook up there in the galley. Son, make sure your server's tower is bigger than your ego. Ego is the anesthesia that deadens the pain of stupidity. You might have a relative in mind you want to send it to. Let me say it again. Ego is the anesthesia that deadens the pain of stupidity. Pride is the burden of foolish people. John Oden coached basketball at UCLA for a living. His calling was to impact people. And with all those national championships, guess what he was found doing in the middle of the week? Going into the cupboard, grabbing a broom, and sweeping in his own gym floor. You want to make an impact? Find your broom. Every day of your life. You find your broom. Because you influence that way. That way you will attract people so that you can impact them. Final lesson. Son, if you're gonna do a job, do it right. I've always been told how average I can be. Always been criticized about being average. But I wanted to tell you something. I stand here before you, before all of these people not listening to those words, but telling myself every single day to shoot for the stars, to be the best that I can be. Good enough is good enough if it can be better, and better isn't good enough if it can be best. Let me close with a very personal story that I think will bring all this into focus. Wisdom will come to you in the unlikeliest of sources, a lot of times through failure. When you hit rock bottom, remember this. While you're struggling, rock bottom can also be a great foundation on which to build and on which to grow. I'm not worried that you will be successful. I'm worried that you won't fail from time to time. Person that gets up off the canvas and keeps going, that's the person that will continue to grow their influence. Back in the 70s, to help me make this point. Let me introduce you to someone. I met the funniest woman I've ever met in my life. Back in my day, we were called a brick house. This woman was the funniest woman I've ever seen in my life. There were little begging ladies didn't like B or linemen. The blind side hadn't come out yet. They liked quarterbacks and running backs. We are at this dance. We are Trina Williams from Monaco, California. And we are dancing and we are just excited. And I decided in the middle of the dancing with her that I would ask her a phone number. Trina was the first one. Trina was the only one in college who gave me a real telephone number. The next day we walked to Baskin Robbins ice cream parlor. My friends couldn't believe it. This has been 40 years ago and my friends still can't believe it. We gone on a second date, and a third date, and a fourth date. We drive from Chico to Vallejo so that she could be my parents. My father misses her, my daddy, my hero. He misses her, pulls me to the side and says, "Is she psycho?" But anyway, we got together 4 years, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. By now, Trina is a senior in college. I'm still a freshman, but I'm working some things out. I'm so glad I graduated 4 times. Nixon, Ford, Carter, Reagan. So now it's time to propose. Then I talk to her girlfriends, and it's corridor. It's in the 70s, so it has to be outside. You have to have a candle. You have to have some chocolate. Listen, I'm from the hood. I had a bottle of Boone's Farm wine. That's what I had. She said yes. That was the key. I married the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life. You've been to the wedding, and even before the wedding starts, you hear this. How in the world? And it was coming from my side of the family.
And it was coming from my side of the family.
Side of the family. We get married, we have a few children, our lives are great. One day, Trina finds a lump in her left breast. Breast cancer. 6 years after the diagnosis, me and my 2 little boys walked up to mommy's casket. And for 2 years, my heart didn't beat. It wasn't for my fighting God I wouldn't stand here today. It wasn't for those 2 little boys. There had been no reason for Rich to go on. I was completely lost. That was rock bottom. You know what sustained me?
You know what sustained me?
The wisdom of a 3rd grade dropout. The wisdom of a simple cook from California Maritime Academy. With the casket. I never seen my dad cry. But this time, I never seen my dad cry. But this time, I saw my dad cry. That was his daughter. Trina was his daughter. Not his daughter-in-law. And I'm right behind my father, about to see her for the last time on this earth. And my father shared 3 words with me, changed my life right there at the casket. It will be the last lesson he would ever teach me. He said, "Son, just stand. You keep stand. You keep stand. No matter how rough the sea, you keep standing. You keep standing. No matter how rough the sea. No matter how rough the sea. I'm not talking about just water. You keep standing. No matter what, you don't keep up." I learned that lesson from a 3rd grade dropout. And as clearly as I'm talking to you today, these were some of her last words to me. She looked me in the eyes and she said, "It doesn't matter to me any longer how long I live. What matters to me most is how I live." Yeah, I ask you one question. A question that I was asked all my life by a 3rd grade dropout. How you living? How you living? Every day, ask yourself the question, how you're living. Here's what a cook in the dining center. We suggest you live this way. That you not judge. That you shop early. That you be kind. That you make sure that thermos towel is used and used. that if you're gonna do something, you do it the right way. The cook will tell you this, that it's never wrong to do the right thing, that how you do anything is how you do everything. In that way, you will grow your influence to make it impact. In that way, you will honor all those who have gone before you, who have invested in you, from teachers to grandparents to mom and dad. And when you combine that academic knowledge with that wisdom, oh my goodness, you will change the world. So that class 2017, it is with great honor that I say all your lives, look in those unlikeliest places for wisdom. Enhance your life every day by seeking the wisdom and asking yourself every night, how am I living? May God richly bless you all. Thank you for having me again. Thank you for having me again. May God literally bless you all. Anyway, oh my god, when I was 5th grade, I identified as mentally retarded. Put back from the 5th grade to the 4th grade and stayed in the career until I got out of high school.
I don't have any college training.
I don't have any college training, but I never met a high school teacher who wanted to change my life. I was waiting on another student, and when he came in, he said to me, "Young man, go to the board and write what I'm about to tell you." And I said, "I can do that, sir." He said, "Why not?" I said, "I'm not one of your students." He said, "It doesn't matter. Follow my directions now." I said, "I can do that, sir." He said, "Why not?" I said, "Because I'm magically mentally retarded." And he came from behind his desk and looked at me. He said, "Don't ever say that again. Someone's opinions of you does not have to become your reality." And as he talked, my heart began to beat fast. Tears began to run from my eyes, and I was in the back just listening to him, because the speech he was giving, that speech was from me. And he said, "Les Brown," if you want to do anything worthwhile in life, you've got to be hungry. I told Mr. Watson that I wanted to become a disc jockey, and so I started working to develop myself. He said, "I want you to practice every day being a disc jockey." I said, "But I don't have a job now." He said, "It doesn't matter." He said that it's better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one, than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. And as I was working to develop myself, I applied for a job as a disc jockey WMB on Miami Beach. I went to a guy named Milton Butterworth. I said, "How are you doing, Mr. Butterworth? I'd like to get a job as a disc jockey." He looked at me. He said, "Do you have any broadcast background?" I said, "No, sir, I don't." "Do you have any journalism background?" I said, "No, sir, I don't." He said, "We don't have any jobs available." I said, "Yes, sir." I went back to Mr. Watson and I told him. He said, "Don't take it personally." He said, "Most people are so negative that we have to say no 7 times before they say yes." He said, "Go back again." So I went back again. I said, "How are you doing, Mr. Butterworth? My name is Les Brown." He said, "I don't want what your name is what I want. I'd like to wait or not to have any jobs as a disc jockey, sir." He said, "Didn't I just tell you yesterday we didn't have any jobs?" I said, "Yes, sir, but I don't know whether or not somebody got laid off or somebody was fired, sir." He said, "No one was laid off or fired. Now get on out of here." I came back the next day like I was in for the first time. I said, "Hello, Mr. Butterworth, how are you?" He looked at me with rage. He said, "Go get me some coffee." I said, "Yes, sir." And I wanted to get him some coffee. Afterward, I'll get their lunch or dinner out of the control room, then take the disc jockeys their food, and I wanna leave until they ask me to leave. One Saturday afternoon, while I was at the radio station, a guy named Rock was drinking while he was on the air. I was the only one there, looking at him through the control room windows, walking back and forth, young, ready, and hungry. Pretty soon the phone rang. It was general manager. And I answered the phone. I said, "Hello." He said, "Les, this is Mr. Cron." I said, "I know." He said, "Rock can't finish his program." I said, "I know." He said, "Would you call one of the other DJs in?" I said, "Yes, sir." I hung the phone up. I said, "He must be think I'm crazy." I called my mom and my girlfriend Cassandra. I said, "Y'all turn off the radio, come out on the front porch. I'm about to come on the air." I waited for about 20 minutes. And I called him back. I said, "Mr. Klein, I can't find nobody." He said, young boy, do you know how to work the controls? I said, yes, sir. He said, going there and don't say nothing here. I said, yes, sir. I couldn't wait to get behind those controls, upper or steeper when the core fingertips. What the? I couldn't wait to get behind those controls. I put on a World Steve Wonder record core fingertips. I put on a World Steve Wonder record core fingertips. I put on a World Steve Wonder record core fingertips. I put on a World Steve Wonder record core fingertips. I put on a World Steve Wonder. I put on a World Steve Wonder record core fingertips. I said, yes, sir. I couldn't wait to get behind those controls. I put on a World Steve Wonder. Could get behind those controls. I put on a World Steve Wonder record core fingertips. I couldn't wait to get behind those controls. I put on a World Steve Wonder. I put on a World Steve Wonder record core fingertips. I said, yes, sir. I said, yes, sir. I couldn't wait to get behind those controls. I put on a World Steve Wonder record core fingertips. I sat down behind the turntable. I said, look, this is me. I'll be prepared. Let's burn your plate of blank paper. There will none before me. There will be none after me. Therefore, the maximum money. Young and single, love to mingle, certified, bonafide, indubitably qualified to bring your satisfaction a whole action. Look up, baby, I'm your love man. I was hungry. You gotta be hungry. Begin to know that you have greatness within you, and if just one of you here begin to envision yourselves as being blessed and highly favored to reach your goals. If just one of you capture the essence of what that means that you have greatness, capture the essence of what that means that you are greatness within you and receive possibility to manifest the greatness. That you can make your parents proud, you can make your school proud, you can touch millions of people's lives, and the world will never be the same again because you came this way. And I was facing financial difficulties in my own life. It was very difficult to pick myself up each day, believing that I was doubting myself.
It was very difficult to pick myself up each day believing that I could do it. There were times that I doubted myself.
I used to ask myself, can I do this? And something said within me, you're the one, don't give up on your dream. By continuing to push forward, by continuing to work toward my dream. Then one day, out of my own talk show from Liberty City on Barrett building on the floor, never know my father and father being here today with this thumb. In Atlanta, it's a long shot, no college training, edge governmental retired, but I kept running toward my dream. Don't stop. In Atlanta, it's a long shot, no college training, level the edge governmental retired, but I kept running toward my dream. Don't stop. Don't stop. Yeah, as he talked, I keep going. I don't give up. I keep things going on every day by day. I did my best, and tomorrow I will do another my best. That's my faith. Keep Steve Jobs. Just wait. Tomorrow I will meet you. Just wait a moment. Let me see tomorrow. Anyway, this is end of my English study. These days I just repeat it again and again, but few days later I will print all the script of this whole things and thoroughly memorized. I will do again in this 2021. Just reading is not it is helpful, sure. It is helpful. What the Korean pronunciation, I can't believe it. Helpful, is it right? I don't know the exact pronunciation. Anyway, I will do my way. It's wrong or right, it doesn't matter. Just keep doing. Just do it is the best way. Anyway, repeat and repeat is useful, but not enough for me. In this year, as I told you, I will memorize whole things of this is whole things about speech. And list Steve Jobs, Rick, who is he? I don't know. I don't even his name. Steve Jobs, Les Brown, and Rick Garrison, Rick Bass, and list 3 plus Donjar. Donjar's speech was good, but not that funny for me, especially the frontier part. That's not that fun for me, so sorry Donjar, you are out of this list. And Chris Lonsdale, he's boring too, so I will memorize and list 3 speeches. Let me see, I will do what I planned. Anyway, this is it. See you tomorrow. And few hours later, I will go to 운동이 뭐지? I will go to workout, working around 9 to 10 kilometers maybe. I will enjoy my left days. I hope you enjoy the day. Bye.